All right, I'm going to start letting people in just a minute,
Okay.
Robert.
Okay.
So far, there's 20 something. They'll keep pouring in, I'm sure. I'm letting Tony in. Tony's our principal broker. Hey, Tony, I'm going to make you a co-host as well. So if you want to chime in or anything like that, you're welcome to do so.
Okay, sounds good.
Morning, Tony.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah. Good, good. I haven't
Good.
talked to
Glad
you in
to
a
hear
long
it.
time.
What's that?
I haven't talked to you in a long
I
time.
know. That's a good thing, right? Or is that a bad
Yeah,
thing?
yes.
All right, guys, I'm going to let everyone in. So stand by. Good morning, everybody. We are going to get started in just a minute with our special guest, Robert Lau from the MLS. So bear with us as more people start to pour in.
Hi, Robert.
Morning. Morning, Chicago.
Aloha, everyone. Morning.
Good morning, everyone.
All right, guys, good morning. It is 9:30 and we'll get started. I know people are still rolling in. So thank you for joining us and taking the time. We have a special guest for our monthly meeting and education this morning, which is Robert Lau. I, as well as Tony, are on standby to answer any questions that you guys might have. If you do have questions, if you don't mind, please mute yourself so there's no background noise so that we can hear Robert. And if you have questions, enter them in the chat. Tony and I will be moderating the chat and we'll try to answer any questions. If it's a question that we don't have the answer to, we'll kindly and politely interrupt Robert to see if he can answer those questions. And without further ado, Robert, you have the floor. So please tell us about yourself, what we're going to be learning today. And I know that Robert will be sharing his screen with us as well. So you have the floor, sir.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here. Uh, like everybody else, we're all locked down, but this is an interesting uh, avenue that we're doing. Actually, I've actually seen this trend coming and years ago. However, I didn't think it'll happen in 6 to 8 weeks. So it's a big transition for everybody. So it's be interesting. Anyway, I've been at the board for over 20 years actually, and just made 20 in February. And I've seen a lot of our MLS systems, so it's kind of interesting. Actually, my background is on the tech side, and the interesting part is I've worked on, I've used the system because I was also an agent also, and I was at the board, so I've seen every MLS system we had since we computerized, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is we're going to go over the Matrix 101. And what I'll do is I will give you some beginning, intermediate, and advanced tips all at the same time. So if you have a question, feel free to stop me and ask a question. No problem. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. First things first, to get into Matrix, you can use the what we call the dashboard. And just to point out something really quick, we do, and I'm gonna come back here later. We do have recorded quite a few videos, and they are sitting on the YouTube channel that we created. Okay, so I'll come back to that later. Okay, okay. So this is your what we call your home screen, and then these are called widgets, and then you can collapse these at any time. It doesn't matter. Let's see here, like marker which. So one of the things you can do is close them, and then you can move these things around to any position you want. Doesn't matter. And one thing you cannot do is delete any of these, what we call widgets. And if you do X them out, like here, they actually go on something called additional. So you can just drag them back out and it comes back out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the search. So I'm going to go into the residential. You do have other property types like vacant land, multifamily, commercial and business, and something called cross property. So cross property, I can search against two or more property types at the same time. So let's say you have someone that wants to get a single family house, or they're going to build their own with a vacant lot. So you can actually search both at the same time. The majority of you will normally do residential. So I'm going to jump there. So in the residential screen, you do have two screens. And it's trying to, there we go. Okay, so this is called residential quick. And these boxes here are what we call feature groups. Okay, so that's the residential quick. You also have, under residential, you also have something called detail. And while it's going, so same thing, detail you have, you're gonna notice you have more of these boxes or feature groups as we call them. Okay, so it's interesting because in our previous MLS systems, we separated, or each one of those property types was separated to their own screen. So what happened when we came to Matrix, they only gave us two screens. And it's mostly the most used fields that are on the screen itself, okay? So one of the things, first things I wanted to point out really quick is that if you notice here, let me go ahead and reset this really quick. It normally will tell you it's you have the status of active and in escrow showing, and single family and condo together. So because you have two screens, you can actually set this up to whatever parameters you want. So I'm going to select, whenever I do a search, or most of us do a search, we do active in escrow showing, which used to be called active continue to show, and prior to that it used to be called contingent. And we have in escrow showing, which used to be called pending. So when I normally do a search, I search across all of those. I do a condo, and if I come up to the far right-hand side under the gear wheel, I can go ahead and set this as the default. So when I come in the next day, and my access is a little slow here, I click on quick, residential quick, it should automatically be set up with the default that I had set up. This active, in escrow showing, in escrow not showing, single family, condo, and then sold. Okay. So here you can either search by your TMK, and you can go all the way down to the CPR level. So let's say zone 1. Let's say I'm gonna do this zone out in let's see, in Newtown. Let's see, to 60. Let's say 61 and comma 63. So you can use all of the different commas and dashes that you want to do that. Okay. And you hit results and you get the results. And there's nothing there right now. Okay. Oh, this is why. There we go. Okay. So if you search by the TMK, you can also do that down to the, again, the CPR level, or you can use the TMK area. So TMK area is the first three numbers in the TMK, so division zone section. And what we have done is that if you click on the question mark, we will have little hints. So it's looking for the three numbers, division zone section. Again, you can use dashes and also commas. Okay, so let's say if I wanted to search something but not Waikiki, so Salt Lake to Manoa but not Waikiki, I can just go 111-125 comma 127-129. So that way it'll actually eliminate Waikiki if you choose to do it that way. Okay. But there's actually a faster way. Okay. So let's say 111-129. And some of you may be wondering, okay, how do I know the TMK numbers? That's a good question. Okay, so let me jump out of here really quick. If you go to the links tab, I actually call this the resource tab. We have all the resources under the links tab. So myself, our other instructor, Ed, our previous instructor, Aaron, and some of us, we've gone on the web and we tried to find all of these different websites that have, that'll actually be your resource. Okay, so what I'm looking for is the neighborhood list. Okay, so here. Okay, so under the neighborhood list, okay, as soon as it comes out, there we go. Okay, where did it go? Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so on the right-hand, the other right-hand side, the left-hand side is the region. So as you can see, the region starts with 111, which is Salt Lake. And it goes all the way to the next page to Manoa, 129. And then from Manoa, it jumps.
Robert, you need to share your screen.
Okay, hold on. That's one thing about, hold on one second. That's one thing about Zoom. Okay, okay, here we go. So this will tell you, actually it'll break down the neighborhoods all the way down to the parcel level, okay? So on the far left-hand side, you have the regions, again, from Salt Lake, 111, all the way to Manoa, which is 129. And then starting from 131, then we jump into a different region called Diamond Head. Okay, so let me go back up here. So we go from all the way from the parcels to create the neighborhood. So like here, this parcel right here, parcel 7, if you go up Pacific Heights, I believe everything to the left side is considered Pacific Heights. Everything to the right side of Pacific Heights is Paoa. If you're familiar with Pacific Heights Road, there is one property that's actually on the right-hand side of Pacific Heights Road. And this is many, many years ago when they built that townhouse project in Paoa. The developer built his house, again, on the right side of Pacific Heights Road. So what we had to do is come in here and actually put him back into Pacific Heights. So again, it goes from parcel to parcel, and then that's how we create the neighborhoods. Okay. So let me close this. I'll switch my screen back here. Okay, so there's a lot of resources in here. That's probably a good thing for another a training anyway. We have the flood hazard tool. They have the, and it depending on your company, whether you can actually give your clients this information or not. If your company policy does not allow you to do that, what you can do is give them these links, and then they can actually look to see. You have the sea level rise, the evacuation maps, and so forth. We have the rules and regs, the training schedules. We have the links to the property tax, or the county's property tax. So you have Oahu, Maui, Big Island, and Kauai. The parcel maps, and this is a good one. We have the school districts. Okay, so again, it depends on your company's policy. If you're not able to disseminate the information, you can give your clients the link. They can go to it, and then they can actually find out. Okay, it's a little slow. Okay, so in this one, all you need to do is just type in the address. I'm just gonna quickly type in an address here. Okay, and what it'll do is it'll show us the districts. Okay, so this particular property is in the Poa Elementary, Kawananakua Middle School, and Roosevelt High School. Okay, so again, this is very important. If your client is looking for a certain district to be in, you can give them the link and then they can actually search it. But always the best thing to do, and I'm going to switch my screen back, is to actually contact the school itself. And then we have a link to that, Department of Education. And the trick is, not the trick, but the thing is, make sure you call the right district, because if you don't, they get upset. I don't know why, but they do. So let's see here, Kaiser, okay, Roosevelt, McKinley, okay. So click on the correct page, and you can see the schools here. Okay, so on the right-hand side, it shows you the principal and the phone numbers, and you just call the school or have your clients call the school directly to find out, to make sure. And then all you need to do is give them the address, and they'll tell you if you're within the school district. So it's pretty good. Okay, so again, all that information is all in your, what we call the links tab or resource tab. Okay, so let me get my stuff here. So basically what happened, I've lost everything I did under my search. Or did I? Okay, if this thing works correctly, your recent searches will actually record up to, I believe it's up to 50 of your most last successful searches. And since I didn't run the search, it didn't save it. Okay, so let me just go quick. I'm looking for a condo. Okay, so I'm gonna just speed it up here. I'm just gonna say, instead of going 111-129, I'm just gonna type in Metro. Okay, and let's say price range, let's say 500 to, let's say 550. Okay, so let's say 1 bedroom. And of course, you have to at least have 1 parking. So I'm gonna go 1+. Okay. And if you look at the bottom, it actually will show you the number of matches as you're typing in the criteria. And of course, we want it to be fee simple. Okay. And we click on results. Okay, so if you notice here, remember I said earlier, we were talking about excluding one of the neighborhoods, let's say like Waikiki. So I can see quite a few Waikikis here. There's several ways you can do it. You can select the ones you want. You can do it that way, depending on whichever is easiest. Or you can go the other way. You can just undo the ones you don't want. And we're going to do it a third way. Okay. So the third way, I'm going to go back into the criteria tab, into my search screen, and I'm going to tell the system I don't want a specific neighborhood. So to omit a specific neighborhood, all you would have to do is go exclamation and then the neighborhood name. So like Waikiki. So now what it's going to do is it tells the system, don't bring me up Waikiki because I don't want it. So you can do this for the neighborhood and also for the building name too. So if they said they saw this building before, when you do your searches, you might as well go ahead and omit that. And don't worry, if you don't remember, click on the question mark and we have it right here. Okay, we have your thing here. Okay. Okay, so now we have 10. So I'm going to go to results. And this is your results for 1 bedrooms from 5 to 550. Okay. Do you have any questions? Are you guys doing okay? Okay, so now I'm going to clear this up. Okay, so now I'm going to back in and I'm going to do a single family search. And then at this point, we're going to go through all of the icons that we see on the screen. So I'm going to go to a neighborhood called Manoa. Okay. So when you're typing into the neighborhood name and also the building name, go ahead and type slowly. And you should see a drop down that will appear. Okay, so in this case, you see 4 of them: Manoa area, Manoa lower, upper, and also Woodlawn. So if you're driving into Manoa, that's considered, I believe that's lower. If you go in up into Manoa further, and to the left side, I believe they call that upper, and then to the right side, way in the back, they call that Woodlawn. Yeah. Okay, so how do we get all 4 of them at the same time? We use the asterisk key. Okay, so the asterisk key can go in the back, in the front, or in the middle, wherever you want it. Okay, so you're telling the system that Manoa has to be first, and then anything can be after. So now I just grab all 4 of the Manoa. And again, I'm just going to click results. Okay. Okay, so here it is. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and talk about the number of things here. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay, so you have, this is called the single line display. You also have several other displays here also. Let's see here. You have the thumbnail version, and it gives you a little bit more information, plus actually less, yeah, a little bit more information plus the picture. You have the summary, which gets you even more. And when we say summary and thumbnail, we're talking about the agent thumbnail, agent summary, and agent full. Here's the agent full. And the way we can tell it's the agent full is because we can see the agent's name. Okay, so, and I'm gonna repeat this again. Whenever you send this out to your client, you're gonna notice that it's called a client full. And you notice that the listing agent's information is gone, or sanitized as we called it. However, we do have to give credit to the listing agent. Okay, so whenever you email on something and use the client format, that's what will happen. Okay, so we're going to talk about these icons really quick. Let me jump into one here. East Monroe Road. I'm going to click on the clock icon, which actually will show you the history. So this one, oh, coming soon to active, in escrow, back out, back on market, in escrow again, back on market, in escrow, and then finally sold, and so forth. Let's see if we can grab another one. Okay, here we go. And the history will actually go all the way back to 1991. So if it was listed before, you'll be able to see that. So in this one here, 2018, it expired. It went back on the market again. They withdrawn, and finally they sold it for 1.2. Okay, so let's see. The next icon is the map, the street map. And this is very important. When you have a listing, make sure it's correct on the street map and also on the Google Street View. Okay, hold on one second. Wait. Okay, here. Okay. So the next icon is the street view. Where is the street view? Okay. So again, and the thing is, in your listing, when you're listing the property, if the pin is in the wrong spot, you can actually move it. So according to Google Maps or Bing Maps, sometimes they don't understand and they put the pin in the wrong spot. And in fact, if it's really doesn't understand, it'll actually put the pin in the mountain or in the ocean because that's where it says Honolulu. So it doesn't know where to put it. So that's the default if it doesn't understand. So that's why when you're entering your listing, you need to go ahead and double check. Okay, so this is the Google Street View. So Google comes by every so often, and they haven't done so in quite a while. But what happens is that they'll give you a 365-degree photo. However, they have no idea what's in front of it. So let's see here. So here, I'm not sure which house it is. So let's pretend if it's this house right here. What you can do again as a listing agent, you can actually move these things around.
Sorry, Robert, we don't see the screen. We see.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Sorry. Let me change the screen share. Okay. So here we go. So as a listing agent, you can change the defaulted Google Street View. So I would, let's say, move it right here, turn around here, like get a little angle here. You try to get the best angle of the house, and then you can set this as the default. So as soon as the buyer's agent or the buying client comes in and they click Street View, that's whatever defaulted Street View you gave them, that's what they'll see. Okay. Okay, wait. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, next icon is, that was the photos. Let's take a look at some photos here. And let me switch my screen here. Oh, okay, you guys are seeing it. Okay, so here's the photos. And you're able to upload up to 25 photos. Okay, so the funny story goes, I had one of my students, I was teaching a class, he left me a message and they said to call him back right away. I thought, oh, this must be serious. So he called me, he says, guess what? I said, what? He goes, I uploaded 25 photos. Go take a look right now. I said, okay. So I hung up, I took a look. And the funny thing was, he uploaded 25 photos. However, it was 25 photos of a level vacant lot. So 25 different angles. So after that, I always say in my class, give us your best photos, because what you're trying to do is attract the buying agent to show the property, or you're trying to attract the buyer to come and see the property or make an offer. Yeah, this is a beautiful house, by the way. Yeah, beautiful house. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna run over to the other side. Okay. And I'm gonna click on the, well, let's go on the same one. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this here. I'm gonna click on the film reel icon, which is the virtual tour. Okay, so a virtual tour is a pre-recorded either video, slideshow, or what have you, yeah. And I'm not gonna play the video because what will happen is that what we notice in Zoom, there is a buffering problem. So let me switch back here. So let me make sure my screen is, okay, I'm still good. Okay, the next icon here is, you're gonna see this like a link and a chain. This is an external URL. Okay, so this will actually sounds like you're breaking the rules, but you're not. So the external URL, you can put any website address in there to send the people to either a branded or unbranded website. And I know you guys will think, wait a minute, branded? I thought we're not able to put anything branded in the MLS, which is true. However, what happens with this external URL, it only is able to be seen by agents or members of the MLS, okay? Let's see here. And a lot of times what they'll do is that they have a specific website for the, like the address website or what have you. Okay, it's taking too long. So let's jump to the next one. The next icon is, let's see here. It's called supplements. Let's see if you're able to see that. Okay, so supplements, you can put up to 5 PDFs. And it, again, it's only seen by agents or members of the MLS. So it could be fact sheets, floor plans, it could be surveys, or it could be whatever you want, up to 5. It could be the addendums that you need to submit with the offer. So it could be anything up to 5. And each one can be no bigger than 5 megs per PDF. Okay. That's good. Okay, so let me close that. And the red icon here is actually, it says real less tax, but it's actually called the data co-op. And if you click on that, it'll give you several screens all at the same time. So you have the pictures on one widget, as we call it. You have the tax information. You have the, believe it or not, they have the foreclosure information there. All on the same screen, all at the same time. Okay, so it's coming. Oh, it also has the schools and the comps, okay? So on the schools and the comps, you have to be very careful because the schools, they're doing it by distance, schools nearby, and also comps nearby. So they're also doing it by distance. I know there's always a lot of question on how do you do comps. So comps, you'd normally want to do 3 properties or units. Let's say if it's a condo within the same building sold within the last 6 months. If that's not possible, then you go to similar buildings in the same neighborhood that sold within the last 6 months. And if that's not possible, then you may go to the adjacent neighborhood, similar building or similar unit sold within the last 6 months. If that's not possible, then you come back in, the appraisers will do this. They come back in, and on the particular unit itself, they may stretch it out to the last year and then do what is it called? Appraisal based on that. So comps are the similar way, okay? So just watch out on this when they say, where is it? Yeah, comp sales or actually schools nearby, because they're only doing it by distance and not necessarily by neighborhood. Okay. Okay, one thing that you, let's see, okay, good. One thing that you don't see here is the open door. So the open door is the indication to let you know there's a open house. So normally we're not able to, at this moment in time, to do a live in-person open house. Maybe it may happen this month or next month. I'm not sure. You have to wait for the governor to come out with the proclamation or something, or the ruling. But in the meantime, you only are allowed to do a virtual open house. So virtual open house, again, is that you're broadcasting live from the property itself, or you're broadcasting live using your virtual tour video, your virtual tour slideshow, or even the pictures in the MLS. Okay, so I've seen like the developers and the new buildings in Kakako, they only have pictures or renderings, and they use that to do a virtual open house. So as long as you're broadcasting live, either at the property itself or from your laptop or computer, that's considered a virtual open house. So you may be thinking, what's the difference for the buyer? They can actually see the photos, they can actually see the videos. What's the difference? The difference is that you're there to answer their questions. So I was watching one of these virtual open houses. They actually were doing, they're walking through with a Matterport. And the thing is, I couldn't tell at the beginning until I started to see the circles on the ground. Then I realized it was a virtual open house. And I thought that was pretty neat, pretty neat. Anyway, but the thing is, I was able to ask him, oh, can you enclose the lanai? Is there extra parking to rent and things like that? And that's the difference, okay? Okay, let me do one more thing here, and then we're gonna jump over to InfoSparks, and this is on the print. Let me do it on the email. Okay, normally when you print or email, there is a set default format, and the default format, they changed it a couple years back because what they wanted to happen is to have a more interactive experience for your clients. So basically, they'll come to the interactive website here, and basically what it is that they can, move all around. They can jump to different views very easily. So this is called the map view. You have what we call a gallery view. You have a list view, and the three dots are actually our old reports that we had before. Okay, some of your clients, if they are familiar or requesting the old reports, you still can give them the old reports. Okay, so let me jump back here. To give them the old reports when you're emailing out or printing, either way, if you go here under additional, so this is something that happened recently, you can select single line. So when you email out or print and send it out, it reverts to the single line format or old format that they're used to. Okay, so that's something that happened maybe within the last 6 months or so. So here's the preview, and it's a single line. Okay. Okay, so let me jump back here. So that's on the printing or emailing. And let me point out something really quick on the emailing, printing or emailing actually. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and print. You're able to send multiple reports at the same time, and there's a lot of reports that we have. And I'm gonna point out here the comparative market analysis report based upon whatever you selected. And I'm gonna hold down the control key and left click to select client full. So now what will happen, I'm able to get those two reports. Okay, and while that's generating, I'm gonna jump over to back to results. Oh, okay, it might be fast. Okay, so the more properties you choose, the longer it's gonna take. So the nice part about this, and let me see if it's, okay, you guys are viewing it. The nice part of this is that they get to see the individual properties. And again, this is the client format. So they don't get the listing agent's information, just the listing company's name. Okay, so I'm gonna jump to the bottom. Sorry if I'm going too fast here. And here. So the nice thing is that they get the comparative market analysis. So let me go through this very quickly. This is the only report where we have the sold price, list price, price per square foot. You have the days on market, the closing date or recordation date, and then again the list price versus the sold price at the percentage. Okay.
Hey, Robert, I think you need to change your screen.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Okay, so again, you have the sold price, list price, the original listing price, price per square foot. And again, they take the sold price divided by not the land square footage, but it's by the interior. Okay, so condos, single family, multi-family, they all use the sold price against the interior square footage. And in vacant land, we'll use the land square footage, of course. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let me jump back here. Okay. Well, it's still generating. Let me close this. Okay, let me jump back here, share my screen again. Okay, so that was the one more thing, and then we're going to jump into InfoSparks. InfoSparks is going to be fast.
Before you jump to InfoSparks, Robert, I did want to ask, because I get this question asked a lot, you know, on the home screen when you can add additional search fields, I find that super, super helpful. Maybe you can add a quick, 5-minute thing on adding those fields and what some of the good use that people can use with those fields being added.
Okay, I'm doing that right now. Okay, so here on our search, again, remember they put in the most popular fields on the quick search screen and also on the detail screen. So if the screen is not here, actually, let me jump back to quick real fast. So if the field that you're looking for is not there, you can actually put it in, okay? So let's say your client says, I want to be in town, let's say, again, metro. Okay, so again, let's say they say 2 bedrooms, under $1 million. So let's say 1,000 minus. However, they want the maintenance fee to be under a certain amount, okay? So the maintenance fee is not here on the screen because again, they only use the most popular fields here under that screen. If you go all the way to the very bottom, click add. And here is a whole list of the fields that you can add in. Okay, so I'm just gonna type in main or for maintenance, select it and click add. So once I click add, it's gonna move over to the selected fields. And now this is gonna be a searchable field that I can use. So I'm gonna click back. And now at the very bottom, it's there. So let's say I'm gonna say, I want the maintenance fee to be under 750 minus, okay? And now we go results. Now let's see here. Let's say 800 to 1,000, which is 800,000 to $1 million for a 2-bedroom in town. Okay, so here, now we can see that the maintenance fee is under $1,000 per month, okay? But the problem is you don't want to click into each listing, you have 30 of them, to see what the maintenance fees are, okay? So let me back up here just to make sure. Okay, so I was able to add the maintenance fee here, and then I can actually do a search and get the results for all listings that are under 750, okay? So now on my screen, I have all of the listings that have maintenance fees under $750 per month. However, I don't want to click on each one to see what they are. Okay, so the solution to that is I'm gonna take my cursor and place it into a blank area, let's say address, and I always use address because it has the biggest blank area. You're gonna see the 4 arrows. I'm gonna left click and I can add the column in. And the column I'm gonna add in is maintenance fees. And I click apply, and now the maintenance fee will pop out. Whenever it decides, there we go. Okay, so now I don't have to look to each field to see, each listing to see what the maintenance fee was or is. Okay, if you click on the column heading, it'll sort lowest to highest or highest to lowest, and so forth. Okay, Okay. And you can move this field around. In fact, you can have your own customized screen if you want. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to remove this because I had set up the screen earlier. Okay, so you can add in all the columns you want. You can move the columns around. And then you can go ahead and if you click on this gear icon, I'm sorry, wrong icon. The next one over, it looks like a notepad with a pencil. You can actually go ahead and save that as your customized screen. So give an example. Any of your customized screens will start with my, and then in this case I said condo, and I made this screen look exactly like our previous screen that we had in Temple or even Maestro. Okay. So it has the bedroom, bathroom, the lanai, your built, maintenance fees, association fees, taxes, and so forth. And again, this is your thing here. So once you set this customized screen up, it'll actually follow you whenever you log in. Okay. So all you have to do, go into display, select your customized screen, and it'll come out like that. Okay. The only
Robert,
yes.
how many of those customized search? This is Rustin Tong with KW Honolulu. How many searches are you able to set up on individual searches? I know you've got what, 5 there. Is there a limit?
I don't know. I used to have 10 but they were all the same thing. So
Okay.
I'm not sure what the limit is. You can try it.
Thank you.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I think I asked the question to the vendors before, and I don't think they said there is one. I don't know of one as of yet. However, the only drawback is you can't click on the individual listing like we did before. You know, like you click on the MLS number and see the listing itself. So you'd have to go back here, change your view back to single line, and then you can click on the listing itself. That's the only drawback on whenever you do a customized report, you can't actually click into the listing. You have to go back to a single line screen or a client whatever screen. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And when you click the single line, it keeps the information on the screen there. It makes it selectable then.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so what a lot of common thing is, if you click on the box on the side, if you check mark the box, it'll only select the first page or whatever page you're on. Okay, so in this case, I have 30. To select all, you would have to use the all button. Okay, and then to clear it, you just go none. Okay. Okay, any questions on searching? I just gave you guys a whole bunch. And then don't worry, it does take time to get used to it. And I just would encourage you guys just to practice every day into the areas that you most specialize in. And then down here, the numbers that are in red are the sold properties, and then these are the sold prices. Okay.
Robert, I have a question. Is there any way how we could incorporate mortgages into the search?
You'd have to go into, okay, specifically mortgages under a certain price range. What do we?
More of a years, you know, like how many years there has been a mortgage on the property.
Okay, as far as the MLS and even Real List, the only one that I know of that we have that information is Remind. So, Chad, do we have time for a short Remind?
Yeah, you can spend a couple minutes on that,
Okay.
and then the rest on InfoSparks.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to bring up Remind. Remind was developed by these 3 brokers. I believe they're in Florida. Oh, I'm sorry, DC, Virginia. Anyway, what they used to do is that they used to get all these different sources all over the creation mortgages, credit information, all kinds of stuff. And then they created Remind. And they were telling me that they used to do like 1,400 transactions every year. It's like, oh, massive. Okay, so here in Remind, they do have something here for, okay. Okay, so here, what they do have something here, and this is what's another thing I was doing earlier for mortgage interest rates. So basically here, and basically what it is that the mortgage thing here, they're actually guessing based upon when the mortgage was taken out as to what the interest rate was. So to give you the average interest rate at that time they created the mortgage. Okay, so here under the mortgage age, here you can actually select the age of the mortgage itself. Let's see how many properties without. Oh, that's quite a few. Yeah. And then based on this, you can actually go in, let me zoom in closer. So the interesting part, you can actually use the Remind. It's a very good prospecting tool because let's say you're doing an open house close by, and then you say, hey, these guys don't have any mortgage. Maybe they can do get a mortgage and buy the property that you're sitting at, somewhere in Lanikai or Kailua. And then you just say here, just go over to list. And then they show you the status, if it's on, if it's active or not. So I don't see any, they're all off market. So I'm just gonna select this. I'm gonna throw this into a cart. Let me move this thing here. And I'm just gonna call this Kailua no mortgage. You do have a limitation as to how long you can give them a name. Okay, so 14 was saved. I'm gonna go into cart. And I'm gonna take those 14 properties and I'm gonna send a mailer. Okay, so they are selected. They are connected to another printing company. It's somewhere in the mainland. I think they're somewhere in the Midwest called Rocket Print. And you can actually send the mailers directly from here. You can put the order in and then send it out from there. It does take a little while to get here, so you just have to give it time. Yeah. So the nice thing is here I can send out 14 postcards for, let's say, $9.24 or something like that. Yeah. And they have all these different types of postcards you can send, or letters, which is pretty cool. And then you can, of course, you can edit any of these, and you can upload the photos, change out the wording, put your stuff inside, and so forth. Yeah. Yeah. Just sewed, farming, whatever you want. Okay. And yeah, it's pretty interesting that they can do that. Okay. Any other question? Okay, so I gave you guys a lot. Don't worry, because let's see here. You guys see my screen? Okay, you can see my screen. Okay, so I'm gonna click on YouTube. I did record these videos on our channel. We have it on Remind, we have it on the MLS, we have it on Realist. So I'm gonna go playlists. Okay, so we separated out the training. We have it on Realist. We have all the different videos and so forth. Okay. Let me close that. See what's on my screen. Okay. Yep. So not to. Okay. There we go. I can see that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on MLS? So we
I think
went
we're
through.
good to switch to InfoSparks.
Okay, so I'm going to switch to InfoSparks. Okay, to access InfoSparks, you can get there a couple different ways. You can click on the icon here, or while you're in a search, you can also click on the icon here. Or the third way is that it's on your homepage. Okay, the only thing about the homepage, and you got to remember, it looks like it's going down, or it looks like the average is 350,000 or whatever. That's actually true. However, what they're doing is we also remember so many years back, Molokai decided to join us, and their properties are also in there, and that's why these numbers are lower than they should be. Okay. At this time, they cannot just filter out just to Oahu only. Okay. Okay, so once you click on it, okay, I think someone raised their hand. Okay, wait, why is it doing that? Okay, let me try it again. Okay, interesting. It's making me. I think I took too long, so it locked me off actually. Okay, there we go. There is a time limit as soon as you log in, here's the time limit for Matrix, the dashboard actually. And I think if you, where's my dash? Yeah. If you go too long, it'll actually log you off. Okay. Okay, so as soon as you get into InfoSparks, it'll automatically grab. The default is single family condos and all the different bedroom bathrooms. And okay, so here I'm going to select only condos and let's say only 2 bedrooms. So this is again the entire MLS. Okay, so let's see here. So I'm going to go ahead and go after a specific neighborhood. And if I click on the down arrow here under that open box, I can go to a neighborhood. So let's pick. I'm just going to type in the first few letters. I'm going to choose Kaka'ako. And this is what's going on in Kaka'ako right now for 2 bedrooms. Okay. So again, this is the last 3 years. And this is a monthly chart. Okay. To smooth out the lines, I'm going to go ahead and do a 12-month rolling. So it makes it a little bit smoother. So back in 2018 or something, it started to change. Okay. So again, this is the, let me move my thing here. These median sales price. This is the number of new listings, number of home for sale, okay, number of pending sales, closed sales, days on market. So as you can see, 2018, it dipped down, now it's going back up, okay, in the supply. So this is the inventory. So the inventory has gone up significantly from middle or ending of 2018. Yeah. Okay, you got price per square foot, the dollar volume. Okay, the last 2 here, showings to pending and showings per listing, is kind of interesting because what they're doing is they're taking the showing time data and based upon the number of showings they had, they actually put it in here. So according to this, there's 1.9 or 1.9 showings before it actually closed. Okay. Then we found out from this graph.
Hey, Robert, we have one question on here. Reed is asking if InfoSpark, I mean, I know the answer to this, but I'd rather you answer it. But the question is InfoSparks data only relevant to the previous month, or is it current to the day?
I believe it's current to the day. Yeah, because they're pulling directly from Matrix. So whenever you create the graph, it should be pulling right away. Getting back to here. So on the last two things, showings per pending, showings per listing, what we found out is that quite a few of you are not reporting your showings. Okay, so when I say that is if somebody calls the listing agent, what they're supposed to do is go back into showing time manually and enter the showing appointment. And that's how it's supposed to be getting in here. And I think we did a video on that too. Yeah. So in the future, if you guys can put in the information, and then it'll help all of you. Okay. Okay. So let me do something here. I'm going to click on share, and there's two different types of reports that you can get. One is called static. And basically what happens is the static is whatever you see right now, that's what it's going to do. If you click live, and if you click either you can post this on social media or on an email. So what happens is when they click on it, it'll actually update itself automatically. Okay, so this is the link here. And if I paste that into my browser, and let me see if I, oh, okay, good. Let's see. So if I paste this into my browser, as soon as your client clicks on it, let's say they do it a month later, they can actually see it'll actually update itself because it's a link going back to InfoSparks. Okay. Okay. Okay, so what else? And you can add in more areas to this. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna say, let's see what the 1 bedrooms versus 2 bedrooms are doing. You can do up to 4 of these things. So
Robert,
this is the what? Yes.
on the email that you just sent out, that link, does it only show the one screen that you had, which was the showings per unit, or does it have all of these basically 10 boxes at the bottom? Does that link bring them to this master page, or is it just a single individual page?
Good question. So whatever, it only does a single page. Yeah,
Okay.
so you may have to send, like I would send the average sales price, days on market, and then monthly supply or inventory. That's the 3 critical things. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Yeah. So the thing is, again, you can compare up to 4 different things here. Okay. You can also do 4 different neighborhoods also, if you wanted to. Let me do that. Let me see if I can do that. Okay. Let's see, Kakako, what's a other good area?
Does this layer, if you pull out and you're comparing 2 different neighborhoods and you select on the graph, is it just an overlay of information, or if
Correct.
you plot a point and you push it, it expands out and says these are the 4 properties that are within that one data point?
It'll actually do the comparison on the same screen. It'll create its own graph. So let's say, let's say downtown. Hold on. Okay, what's going on here? Come on. Okay, 1 bedroom. Okay, for her. Okay, so hold on 1 second. It's trying to be goofy right now. Okay. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Okay, supposedly what happens, you're supposed to click on this custom button. It allows you to do that. Okay, I'm not sure, but it's a little, yeah, something's going on right now. Okay, but trust me, it works. I did a video on that, and I did that. Okay, one other thing I want to share really quickly on InfoSparks is that you can actually create your own area that you want to search. So if the neighborhood, if you're watching a specific area or your clients are interested in a certain area, you can actually create your own instead of a neighborhood or by building. Okay, a good example of that would be, and as soon as that comes out, let's say the Gold Coast. So Gold Coast is in Waikiki, but it's kind of like not in, actually it's not in Waikiki, it's actually past Waikiki. And it's a part of the Diamond Head area. So let me see here, plus. Okay, so it's after the aquarium to right about here. So I'm gonna take my thing here and draw a thing here. And I'm just gonna do it very quickly. And these are all these different condos, and I have to go back on a point here, and I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna call this Gold Coast, and save. Oh, okay. Sales. I already have something there, that's why it's telling me not to do that. Okay. Okay, going back to InfoSparks. Okay, so again here, click on the arrow, down arrow, and then go my area. And we did that. And now I have that certain area. I can see what the 1-bedroom sales, monthly sales. I'm going to do rolling 12, so it smooths out the line. So as you can see, the 1-bedrooms are up in a 900,000 area for 1-bedroom. And let me close this. Yeah. So these condos, the 1-bedroom condos, are in the right under $1 million. That's up from 2009. So when I close sales there. Wow, 20-something sales. That's pretty good. The supply is going up. But the days on market have gone down. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, let me find out about this. I'm not sure why this thing is not. So the thing is with InfoSparks, you can actually take this, post this on your social media, and then use that to hopefully lure people in to talk to you. Or again, when you're doing your listing presentation or buying presentation, you can use this graph or chart, and it's actually better to use this as a visual part of your presentation. And it's they can see that, hey, you know, I'm sorry, but the sales prices are not $1 million. I mean, as much as you want, the rest of the market is showing just under $1 million. You know, that's it. It might have been that before. Let's go further back. And I believe we can go as far back as 2005, I believe. Yeah, yeah. It says, hey, you bought it in here at the bottom, so now it's the time to sell. Take out your 700,000 and move it to something else, or move to Kaka'ako or something. Yeah.
Robert, the button that you were trying to push were the property type 1/8. What was the purpose of that? To compare it, or what were?
Yeah, you're able to do the 4 comparisons, 4 different. Yeah, because here this is the custom here, and then let's see here. You can create your own price range. Yeah, so you can create your own price range if these are too high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm not sure what happened to. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what. I think they did have a problem because I couldn't get in on my other screen to log into InfoSparks. So I'm not sure what's going on right now. Yeah. But these, yeah, these two arrows, yeah, allows you to get in there to do custom. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the last two here is new development. Yeah. Oh, wow. What is that? Oh, press reserve. Okay. So that's another tool that you can use along with your search information, the CMA report or the comparative market analysis, along with your chart to bring everybody down to a reasonable price. Yeah, so I hear buyers out there in the field are trying to lowball all of these listings. It's a tough world out there. Yeah, but with this, hopefully you can say, hey, the lowest price is this, you know. And as everybody get back to work, hey, you know, if you want the property, this is what you got to pay. So, all right, yeah, yeah. So now you have more ammunition on that you can show them. Okay. Any other questions?
This is super, super helpful. Does anyone have questions on InfoSparks that Robert can answer for you guys?
I have a quick question, Robert. When you go to share this, does it send a link or does it send a PDF?
You can send a PDF. I don't know if you can see my screen now, or you can send the link. So if you email or use it in social media, and I click share, it provides you with a link that you can send them. Let me go one more. I forgot. You can actually take this and embed this into your websites. Okay. And then that's what you see in the front page of Matrix. Let's see, Matrix. So right here, we embedded the chart in this small area. So we have to give it the dimensions. Okay, where are we? Yeah. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, hold on 1 second. This thing is tricky. Okay. Yeah, and then the very last one, you can actually, if you want, you can actually export the data that it has. And again, the data is monthly to a CSV file. So a CSV file is a comma separated value that all of your spreadsheet programs will be able to understand. So basically, you can send it to Excel or Numbers or Google Sheets, and then it'll be able to take the data, I guess monthly data, and then you can do whatever you want with the data. You can massage the data or you can graph it yourself. Yeah. Yeah, good question. And again, the live one allows you to, again, when you embed it or update, embed it or email it or use a social media, it will update as soon as they click on the link. So you can email.
How do you get to the share with the share options right here that you have pulled up? Where do you do that to hit share?
Okay, so I selected live and also social media or email.
This pop-up that you're on right now, how do you get there?
Oh, I'll click on share right here.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So live and then social media and then share. So this link is what you'd put in your email. And then so if they click on it 2 months from now, they'll get the most current information as of that day. Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
so one of the questions I was asked is, are you guys teaching InfoSparks at HBR, or is everything kind of on hold and done virtually right now, or how are you guys doing your education and training?
Currently, everything is on hold. However, I did record videos earlier. Let me get to. We did record videos. Also, we have. Let's see here. When they came down here for the general membership meeting and they did their presentations, we recorded that also. Where are they? MLS Touch. Remind is in there.
Go up, InfoSparks is over the top of your screen. Right there in the middle. Oh, real quick. Down one. It was right in the middle. InfoSparks at the bottom there. We're lying
here
dead.
it is. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, right next to us. Yeah, yeah. So when they came here, we recorded we recorded them. We recorded Lioness, MLS Touch, and also Remind. Remind has two. Yeah. Yeah. So Remind, there is different plans. The paid plan, of course, you get more information. I think it's 99 or 199 per month. However, it's a monthly contract, so people can go on with the paid plan, and then with the paid plan, they'll give you the contact information. So if they have the email address or their social media accounts information, the phone numbers, they would actually give that to you. If you're on the plan that we have, which is the free plan, what you can do is, let's say if you narrow down the list to, let's say 10, and then you go to them, says, hey, I want the contact information. I think it's $3.95 or $3.99, and then they'll give you the information per each one. And then they can be multiple contacts per property. I think they give you all of them for $3.99 per property. Yeah. And is the information up to date? That's hard to say. Yeah. Because people have a lot of different accounts nowadays, from what we understand. Yeah. Yeah, just like me, I have 7 email accounts. But that's to make sure that if you guys have problems with any of these emails in Matrix, then I can go to them to see. Yeah.
Robert, we have one question. Someone is asking, he wants to know if you can go back to how you were able to show the maintenance fees popping up on the single line display on the MLS side.
Okay, so I'm going to go recent searches, and it should give me my results. Let's see if it's my screen share. Okay, my screen share. Yep. Okay, so here again, I'm going to go to the column that has the biggest area. You can actually use any of these columns, but you just have to be in a blank space. Left click, and then insert. And again, I'm just going to go maintenance, and then you can put in any column you want, whatever's on the list. And normally the whatever's on the list is corresponding to whatever's in the profile sheet. So if you're looking for a condo, you look in the condo profile sheet, and you can enter any field from the condo profile sheet into your search screen or the display like we did here. Yeah. Yeah. Good question.
Is there a list of that, or do they have to pull up the profile sheet to see that, or is there one just blanket list where you can just say, you can just go down it?
We just have the profile sheet. So if you go into, again, the links tab, which is the resource, it's there. So let's see if I can pull it up. And the good thing too is that on the profile sheets, which is at the bottom here, is that anything that has an asterisk next to it, and I'm waiting for it to, anything that has an asterisk in front of the field is a required field. So you guarantee something will be there. Okay, let me see if, okay, it's trying to pull up the profile sheet. Okay, let me share that. So anything, again, that has the asterisk in front of it is a required field. So I'm trying to get down to maintenance fees. Where's maintenance fees? Okay, maintenance fees is somewhere here. I can't see it. And you can even put in, you can even search by the public remarks actually, or agent remarks, anything that's here you can search by. And again, if it's a required field that says R, you can actually search by that. So you can search by acceptable terms and so forth. Let's see here.
Any other questions that you guys might have for Robert?
Hi, it's Natasha here. I do have a question, and forgive me if it's very basic. I'm new, very new. So just wanted to ask, what would be the main reason to be using InfoSparks? Is it to share with your potential clients, or and on your website? I like that idea to be able to embed it on your website. Or is it to give an update to your current clients when you're talking to your potential sellers and buyers?
Yeah, so good question. So the question is, when would you use InfoSparks? So as a former agent, I found out that if I have visuals, it's easier to do the presentation than without. Because a lot of times you can say, hey, the market is going down by 10%, 20%, and they hear it, but they kind of, you kind of keep revisiting the, hey, they still want to list it high, but the, hey, the market is changing. But if you kind of show them a graph, and then they can see, and I think you guys can see my screen. Yeah, you can see my screen. And you see the thing here, they can actually see it. And then it makes it a little bit easier for them to realize that, hey, the market is going down. Yeah. Yeah. So whether it be a buying presentation, selling presentation, or whatever, I would use some kind of chart to help you, or visual to help you with your presentation. Yeah.
Natasha, it's information, and however you want to disseminate that and use that it's got multiple uses. It's like a Swiss Army knife. So you absolutely can use it in multiple situations. And it just reinforces, it's a third-party validation. So it's not necessarily coming from you as the agent of saying, hey, the prices are falling. It's a third-party validation, which is absolutely live and true data that you can reference and resource. So it actually makes you look like you've done your homework, and it's literally a click of a couple buttons.
Correct. So let's say this is a 1-bedroom in Kakako. You say, hey, yeah, at one time it was in the 660s. Now it's below 600. So if we try to list high, that's probably what they're going to remember. But you can say, hey, present time, this is what it's going for now. Yeah.
Thank you. One of the reasons why I asked about it is because there's quite a few resources to use in terms of stats, graphs. And like I mentioned, because I'm new, I'm trying to kind of find my way around it, which ones would be the best ones to go. I get this is the real life, in real time, what's happening. I do understand the value of showing the clients the current trends, but I would not want to overwhelm them with too much information, too much numbers, and too much stats, because one of the good resources that I found is the ones that are monthly published by Honolulu Board of Realtors. And there's a lot of numbers there and a lot of information. So that was actually the main reason why I would ask how to use it, because there is so much available, and to find the best source and not to overwhelm clients. So that's basically where I'm coming from. Thank you.
No, that's a good question. So your question was, that's true. We do have a lot of resources out there. And what I used to do as an agent is I used to put it in my book or what have you. And then when I'm presenting it, I pick and choose which ones I need at that time. And it's all dependent upon the client. If the client is really sophisticated, then I would show them more things. If they're not sophisticated, then I would show them less. Yeah, because I made the mistake. I showed one of my clients all of these things, the census data, this data, that chart, this chart. And then halfway through, they stopped me and said, Robert, we don't care what the buyer is or what they look like, just sell our place. And then from then I realized, hey, I have to tailor my presentation according to the client. And that's why I had all these different pages and I just used to flip through them if I needed them. So yeah, I would have these things ready, and then depending upon your client, whether they're sophisticated or not, then I'll pick and choose which ones to present to them. But yes, you are right. We do have a lot of programs out there. Yeah, so we didn't even go through RPR, which is Realtor Property Resource, put out by NER. They have a lot of resources too. Realist is our tax data, but they're kind of merging over to like an MLS. So they also have information too. Showing Time is trying to get there too. which is kind of crazy. And then Central Key or Central Lock, they used to be called, they're also getting into the mix too. Not to mention that Remind is there too with the information. So yes, and then also we have MLS Touch, HomeSpotter. Everybody's trying to get into the mix of the MLS. So it's getting more and more options that you can use. So you just have to pick and choose which one to use. And to me, it should be always dependent upon your client though.
Totally makes sense. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No, good question.
And Natasha, I, as well as your coach, Lisa, can help you with that. Some of that is how to properly prepare for like a buyer consultation or listing presentation in terms of what data to pull. So we can help you with that offline. And I would say that I'm going to steal the screen from you real quick.
Okay.
Robert, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
So some of the, I very much like and appreciate data myself. And so this is a report called the TMO report. It's available for KW agents only. TMO stands for Total Market Overview. The data that we get off of this report is pulled from InfoSparks as well as other components of the MLS reporting. And so how does this help? Well, I've already spoken to a couple of agents that have used this for their benefit to secure listings with agents. So just as an example, I mean, if you look at this, it's breaking down the components of the MLS on an overall report that you can look in the neighborhood, in a region. But what this does, it'll break it down per price point. So if your client is pricing their property at, in this bucket here between $750 and $799, and you can see how many active listings there are versus the bucket right beneath that, you might be able to give your client different advice based upon real-time data, what's moving and what's not moving. And so like with anything, data, when you know how to use it, you're being hyper-focused into your market and you can properly advise them, which is exactly what we're supposed to be doing is coming from, being a consultant to them. So again, this report, we can help train you up on that as well, but this is a report that's exclusive for Keller Williams agents. But the data is pulled from the MLS and it's pulled directly from InfoSparks. I wish, Robert, hopefully in the future, you might be able to have something as detailed as this, but for the time being, we don't. So any other questions? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Kimberly had a question. She wanted to know, where do you find that report?
When it's we try to aim for having that available twice a month, because it's very labor intensive to create that report, and we email it out. So we'll just check your emails. We'll send it out as soon as it's available, and it'll be sent out via PDF. And I will also have it uploaded onto our inward-facing drive, our KW Associate Drive on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, it'll be there. If you're not on Facebook, check your email, and we'll get it over to you. Anything else? Any ahas? Any questions that anyone else wants to add?
Yeah, I know we went through a lot, and again, it's recorded on YouTube, so you can just pick and choose which of the information you're looking for, and it's there. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Robert. I think that it was an excellent class. I hope that we can have you back to teach not only this again, but there's so many other components, as you mentioned before. We love education and training here at KW, so we'd love to have you back soon, and we really appreciate your time.
Oh, no, thank you guys for inviting me. It's fun to, I love teaching. So anytime
Awesome.
you go, I'll come back. Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
I
so
appreciate it.
if you have any questions, you can always email me, robert.lau@HiCentralMLS.com. Yeah, at any time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Take care, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Isabella. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Ross. Thank you, Eileen.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you, Paul Keller. Thank you, Robert. Hey, Michael. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Robert. Great job. This is Eileen.
Yeah. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, Sam.
Hey,
Thank you,
Robert,
Jewel.
say your email again.
Robert.lau, L-A-U, @HiCentralMLS.com.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you, James. Thank you, Jesse or Giselle.
Chad can type it in the comments, or he'll email it out to Lisa if you guys need it again.
Thank you so much for the invite. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Jessa.
Thank you, Raylene. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, James. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Naru. Thank you, Alice. Marina.
Robert, you're like a politician. You're shaking hands and kissing babies.
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah. Thank you, Dean. Yeah. Oh, that was a very good turnout. You guys had a lot of good questions. I'm really, really happy.
Robert, great job.
Oh no, you guys good. You guys are good. Good questions. Make my job easier.
I was talking to my friend who's a trainer in California, CMLS, the big one that's trying to take over the state, MLS. She's a local girl. Her daughters live here. So I was texting her going, do you know Robert? She goes, no. I said, well, I have to make sure you guys meet.
Yeah, no, we have a connection in Matrix to the CRMLS.
Yeah.